He was so lovely. He was really, really sweet. He just didn't want to speak to me. Um, so I was wondering why have you asked me out and why do you want to go on another date if you don't want to speak to me?
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Single Sounds. I am Katie Mack, the host and creator of this podcast, and I am here to introduce you to all the wonderful singles of London so you can select a date. Before I begin this episode, I just want to do a little shout out to Whole Trains. They're not an official partner, but I went on the hen do last weekend and the train conductor came over to us. He saw our balloons, I think, as we got on the train and just came over and asked some questions to the bride or the bride-to-be. He read the balloons, so even knew her name. And we didn't think much of it. It was just thought he was being like interested and polite. And then a few moments later, he announced to the whole train that we were on the hen do and when the wedding was, and then presented her with a full bottle of Prosecco and some crisps for us all. It was just the sweetest thing. So I just wanted to give them a little shout out and say thanks, Whole Trains. And if anyone's travelling from King's Cross North, book with Whole Trains instead of the other operators because you might get some Prosecco if you're celebrating. Anyway, back to the purpose of this podcast. This week's character is ready for a serious relationship if the right person comes along who makes her happy. You'll need to be on board with having dessert at home after a meal out and not disturbing her precious naps. I know you'll all thoroughly enjoy her list of icks. They are truly iconic, and I'll be sharing them later to the podcast's Instagram. Also, you do get a bit of a teaser of this guest's physical attributes from her bestie sharing her celebrity lookalikes. Okay, hi, welcome to Single Sounds.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Very happy you're here.
Thank you.
Let's start with your profile, your quick fire round, pique the listener's interest. Your who, what, where. So first question, who are you sexually attracted to?
Men.
Nice. And what are you looking for?
I say I'm ready for a serious relationship, but only with the right person. I'm not like, obviously.
Won't just take anyone.
No, I'm not just going to take anyone. But yeah, I think just someone to make me happy and someone to do fun things with, but also to do nothing with.
Yeah.
I think
Have someone
that
to
would
chill
sum
with.
up. Yeah.
Any height, age preferences?
I'd say probably 27 or older.
Okay.
But maybe not sort of, no more than 33, 34. So
Okay.
within that bracket.
Yeah.
And then I'm 5'6", so yeah, maybe 5'10", 5'11" plus.
Yeah, that's fine. Just a bit taller.
Bit taller, yeah.
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 Good. And how about where?
So I'm a North London girl. I've always been a North London girl, so I'd like to stick north. But again, if it was the right person, I would cross the river.
Even if they live in Clapham?
Yeah, even if they live in Clapham.
There's commitment.
It is.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to the 3 A's. So that's acceptance, adventure, and affection. We're going to start with acceptance. So this is, will they be accepting of your flaws and your quirks?
I've got a lot of them.
First question is, what is your most controversial opinion?
So my controversial opinion is that I really don't like dessert.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people are just big on dessert, but I just actively don't like dessert. I would never choose to order a dessert. I don't see the point.
Interesting.
I'd rather have like 5 starters
Okay.
and just not have a dessert. Like the other day I went out for lunch with my colleagues and like we'd had a really nice meal. And then people just decided to order like a £6.50 slice of carrot cake. And I just thought it was so unnecessary. Why do you now need...
They are very expensive, like always. I find.
they're expensive, but also like I'm full. I'd rather just like go home and eat a bag of chocolate buttons. Like I don't need...
Oh, okay. So it's not
Yeah.
like the sweet thing. It's
No.
like the unnecessary add to the bill.
It's the add to the bill, but also like I just
And
don't
time.
rate fancy desserts or like even just
Yeah.
like cake or ice cream or like apple pie or like strudel. I don't know. I just don't
Yeah,
rate
interesting.
it. I'd rather honestly just go home and have a Kinder Bueno. Like, I
Yeah.
just like don't need dessert.
No, it's really interesting because I thought we were going to clash here. I will like to order dessert, but only if it's a good dessert. So I'd agree that there's plenty of restaurants, especially Asian cuisine. It's normally like fried banana, and I'm like, not sure about that. So I would never pick one.
I just think it's so unnecessary. I honestly would never even look at a dessert menu. But some people really love dessert, and people have sometimes. I've been to like a dessert party, and that was my idea of hell. It's like, God,
That does sound tragic.
literally like 1,000 cakes. It was just like, I just don't need that. I don't
Yeah.
need that. I'm very happy with the main meal.
Yeah. No, it's interesting 'cause as a family, we often do that. We'd buy like, especially if we're on holiday, we'll buy like sweets for the room. And then we'll go back and be like, why don't we eat our Toblerone?
Yeah.
Instead of like ordering dessert. But I
Yeah.
always thought it was like a cheap thing.
No,
But actually, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like, actually, that will be way better tasting calories.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they can be really disappointing.
Yeah.
Because
you
I
can
order them a lot. And I
get
can
into bed
say
and
that.
eat your Toblerone. Like, that's so much better. Literally in front of the TV, come home with your Toblerone
Yeah,
and
like
your cup
it.
of tea. Perfect end to the evening.
I thought I was going to be like, this is so controversial. I love desserts, but I feel like even I can get on board with this.
Yeah. And the you know, the ones that there was such a hype on them, they're like balls, and then they
Oh, the melty.
the melty ones, and
Yeah.
the waiter comes and they pour it. And like, no one actually likes that dessert. They just want it for the bloody Instagram
Yeah, the
post.
video, 100%.
Yeah.
No, I had one of those once and it was so disappointing because it was just then like a gooey mess. In the middle, it had like ice cream, and I was like, that's all right. Then it was just ice cream with chocolate sauce.
Yeah.
So I was like, what?
Not worth it.
Could have had that at home.
Not worth it.
It wasn't worth the 15 quid it probably
No.
cost.
No.
Okay, next acceptance question. What is your most toxic trait?
So I love a nap. I'm literally obsessed with napping. I will have like 5 naps a day,
nice.
and I need someone to be accepting of that.
Not judgmental.
Yeah, like I'm absolutely fine with other people getting up early, going for their morning run, whatever it is they do in the morning. But like, the kindest thing you can do for me is let me sleep. And
Do you do like long naps, short naps? What's the
oh,
vibe?
I don't really do. You know how the preferable nap is like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
So that's like the optimal time. Oh, mine are about 3.5 hours, but so it's more of a deep sleep than a nap. But yeah, I nap, and I need someone to be accepting of that and let me sleep.
Yeah.
Do not disturb. Do not disturb, and preferably no snoring.
Yeah.
That's not.
It's going to disturb your napping.
Yeah, it's not a good one for my trait. But yeah, and preferably if I do have a lion and they do go for a morning run, it would be nice if they came home and when I woke up they'd brunch for me. That would also be quite nice.
Yeah, because they're awake and you're not.
They're awake. They can come back from their morning run with a coffee and some eggs and avo, and I'll wake up and I'll be really refreshed with my beauty sleep and be raring to go.
That sounds perfect. No, I'm a big napper too, so that one I can get on board with 100%.
Yeah.
But I do more like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. It's
Oh, no, that's just
too
simply not
short.
enough. It's not enough. But yeah, big on the napping, and yeah, let me sleep.
It's a good thing to know. I wouldn't say it's toxic, though. Do you think?
I think I don't like it when people are like, come on, get up, seize the day.
Seize the day. Fuck off.
No.
I'm not a morning person, so I'd be like, absolutely not. I seize the evening. That's what I
Yeah,
seize.
like I will seize whatever part of the day I want to seize. Thank you very much. Like at uni, I used to live with these guys, and they literally from like 7 a.m. in the morning, they used to like blare music.
That's so inconsiderate.
And I was like, and they were like, come on, seize the day. And I was like, it's not for you to tell me whether to seize the day. I will seize the day if I want to seize the day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, I completely agree. Let's move on to adventure. So when you're going to take us on an adventure with your stories. We're gonna go straight in there with your worst dating story.
This was a few years ago, and it was during COVID, like the summer of COVID. And my friend asked me if I wanted to go on a date with this guy that we were at uni with. And I was sort of friendly with him at uni. He was a nice guy. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, go for it. Why not? And I met him for a drink and we sat down and we started talking. After a few sort of back and forth, I kind of got the impression he didn't want to speak to me, which was a bit sad. And I'd ask questions and I'd say, oh, I can't remember what we were talking about, holidays or reading. And he'd say, you wouldn't want to know, or I'm not telling you, or you wouldn't find it interesting. It doesn't matter.
Oh, weird.
So I was like, oh, okay. No, please, please tell me. I'm really interested. I really want to know about this
So
book.
I've asked the question.
Yeah, I'd quite like to know, actually. I really want to know about the book that you're reading. Please tell me. And then he'd start talking and he'd say, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So I was like, okay, I'm not really sure where to go from here because we can't really have a conversation. And then he said, there's something about you that makes me speak, and I don't like speaking. And I don't like speaking so much that I didn't speak once for 6 months.
Sorry. He took like a vow of silence.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's telling me that he doesn't like to speak and he doesn't want to speak to me on a date. So I said, okay.
So he just wanted you to sit in silence?
No, I think he wanted me to monologue. So I said, okay.
Oh, just you speak and him not reply.
Yeah. So I said, okay, that's fine if you don't want to speak.
That would not be fine with me. I'd be like, I cannot just monologue this whole
I was
day.
like,
what were you going to do? Like, just start commenting on stuff?
I was like, it's fine. You don't want to speak. I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable. So I was like, it's fine. I'll do the talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in this situation, you're like, I'll just have to do it.
Yeah, I was like, I'll speak. What do you want me to speak about? So then he was like, oh, I want you to speak about this. So then I started, oh God, it was terrible. So then I started just like monologuing about random topics that he sort of chose because he wouldn't
What were the topics?
respond. I don't know, like, I think like stuff in the environment, like, oh, do you want me to talk about the table? And then
oh, right.
like it really odd. And then
Really odd.
and then even during the conversation, well, the one-sided conversation, things were just getting a bit strange. Like I was sort of like would mention things like, oh, I think I mentioned Pizza Express, and he was like, what's that? I was like,
Pretty big chain.
yeah, it's a pretty big Italian restaurant chain that like quite a lot of people go to.
It's really common, no?
And
It's
then
quite basic.
I mentioned Eat Out to Help Out because it was COVID. What's that?
Oh, okay.
What's that? I was like, oh, it's the government
Everyone
scheme.
knows.
Everyone kind of knows about it.
We're
at
all
the
using
moment.
it a lot.
Yeah, like literally I was like just referencing like really common things in day-to-day life, and he just didn't know what anything was. So
Do you think maybe he was pretending he didn't know just so you'd speak more?
possibly. I think he was enjoying me speaking.
He'd just be like, what's that? I don't know.
Yeah. I
She
think
might
he
talk a
just-
bit more.
And sometimes he'd go, what's that? And I go, oh, for example, the government scheme. And he'd sort of sit there for 5 minutes and go, oh, yeah, no, I know what it is now.
All right.
You either know what it is or you don't. Like, you don't need to think about it. And then I was just thinking in my head, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah.
After about 40 minutes, he just said, I think I'm going to make a move. So I was like, great for me.
Thank God.
I got out of this one. I don't need to think of an
Don't have to
excuse.
do any more monologues.
And then I'm walking home and I look down on my phone and he has tried to call me on Facebook chat.
It's random.
Facebook chat. He's tried to call me. So I messaged him and said, everything okay?
That was nice of you.
You're all right?
You want to just
What's
ignore
going
that?
on? And he was like, just wanted to say I had a really fun time. And I wondered if you want to do mini golf sometime.
You'd have to speak at that one, maybe.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, and then I let
said,
him down gently
yeah.
and I said, it was really lovely to see you, but unfortunately, I think we're better off as friends. But
Yeah, because that was weird because it actually started as not a random app meet. It was actually someone you knew.
yeah, and from my recollection of him at uni, he was a
Yeah.
really nice, sweet guy. So I had no idea going into it that it would have turned out
yeah.
like that. And I'm more confused about why he had such a good time. I
Because he
mean,
just got to listen to you chat, I guess.
yeah.
That's probably his idea of heaven.
But I think he just
If
felt,
he's that introverted, maybe.
yeah, I think he obviously felt really uncomfortable and
Yeah.
whatever. But he obviously had a really fun time, which was
That's nice.
confusing. But I was confused why he wanted to do that again, to be honest. And and my friend sort of set us up, and I came out of a message to my friend like,
what did you think? That's true.
That was just
what did they say?
A really bizarre experience. And she was like, I had no idea.
Strange.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it was
to be fair, I've heard some pretty bad ones, and I feel like that sounds horrific. If someone told me on a date they didn't want to speak, I think you handled that so well. I don't think I'd know what to do.
I hope I handled it well.
Yeah, it sounded like you were really nice. I think most people would have not been that nice.
Yeah, I think I was trying to be accommodating.
Yeah,
and you
did well.
Thought in my head, he's obviously, I don't know, maybe he's really nervous or whatever. So like, I'm gonna try and make him feel comfortable and
by
I'll
monologuing,
chat away. And he seems to be having a good time.
Yeah,
but
it's true. Maybe he was smiling away.
Yeah, I think he was,
I just don't think I would have known what to do in that situation. I think I would have been like, I think the whole point of this is that we both speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bizarre.
It was not a good one.
No, it was really not a good one. One of the worst I've heard, I think. Like, because that's just, it's almost like endearing and sweet, but then also just so difficult to know what to do with.
I was just confused.
Like he wasn't awful. He was just like, that's just difficult.
Yeah, he was. Oh no, he was so lovely. He was really, really sweet. He just didn't want to speak to me. So I was wondering why have you asked me out, and why do you want to go on another date if you don't want to speak to me? Yeah,
bizarre.
That didn't happen again.
Bless him. Okay, let's move on to what would your TED Talk topic be?
So I'm really passionate about psychology.
Okay.
And I think my TED Talk would probably be about empathy and just understanding people because of my work and my job, I feel like I've noticed how as a society we're just really rubbish at listening to people, understanding people, empathizing with people, and we need to do more of that.
Yeah.
And I think so often we're always like to our friends, oh, don't get upset, or like, oh, don't worry about it, or oh, just don't think about it, or you can't think like that, when actually like you're not really understanding how they're feeling and
you're just pushing it under the rug.
Yeah, like, oh, just don't worry about it. Yeah. Like that's not
helpful.
It's really not helpful
because they are worrying about it.
So to say, oh, don't get upset, or like don't worry about it, that's not a really helpful thing to say, and we do it all the time.
We do, I agree.
And
I hear that phrase so much.
Yeah, and like
just don't worry.
Even in reality shows like Made in Chelsea, like the amount of times you hear people to each other go, oh, don't get upset. Okay, I won't be upset. Really good advice.
I'll just switch it off now. It's fine. It's like a
fine.
switch.
Thank you so much for that advice. I won't be upset now. Yeah, I think as people, we're kind of rubbish at that sometimes, and we're not very good at listening. We're very distracted with our phones, with life, and I think people need reminders that actually we need to connect with people more. We need to really understand. We need to feel what they're feeling, step into their shoes, and saying something like, don't get upset or trying to find a solution, even like, oh, why don't you try this? Or have you done that? Like, that's not what you want to hear when you're feeling rubbish about something.
Agreed. Like that comes up a lot on my like TikToks, that it's always women saying like, by the way, sometimes we don't want a solution. We just want to be heard, and we just want someone to say like, yeah, that does sound shit. That's actually what we want. We don't want someone to say like, oh, have you thought about this? And like trying to solve. And I get why you might do that if you think you're helping. But sometimes like, I think we're rubbish at reading the room with like, no, they just want to rant or moan right now, and just let them. Don't try and solve it right now.
You don't need to have the right answer. Just being like, I hear you.
Yeah, and that's shit.
And that's shit. Yeah. And I'm here with you is enough. People feel better when they know that someone is just there with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, guys are pretty rubbish at that. It's always,
Yeah.
have you done this? Have you tried that? Ooh, look at all these solutions. And actually, that's not always helpful.
Yeah, because they're normally like so upset about it. Actually, right now, like that's all they can kind of process. It's that one emotion of like, I'm feeling shit about this. Can you just like, I just want to tell you that. I don't want
Yeah,
you to fix me or it.
yeah. Not everything needs to be fixed. Things
No.
will pass. We just need people to say, I hear you. And I feel like I need a guy who kind of, I mean, I know it's tricky because guys love solutions, but
I've definitely read something like that. That's like, it's a difference between the genders as well,
yeah.
of like, they just look for solution, whereas we're more like, let me just sit in this, like marinate in my feelings, and then I'll think about it.
Yeah, and I feel like I need, because I'm so passionate about psychology and all that sort of thing, like I need a guy that is emotionally aware and like understands those sorts of things.
And their emotions and where they come
Yeah,
from.
yeah, and understands their own emotions. And yeah, that is what my TED talk would be about.
It's a good TED
Thank
talk,
you.
especially in terms of like technology as well. I'm really interested in that, like how it's ruining our communication skills and our like people skills.
We need to be aware of like our body language when we're listening to someone. Like, are we really showing that person that we're listening to them? Like, are we looking around the room? Are we playing with something? Are we going on our phone? Like, no, we want to really show that person that we're really listening to them. And I don't think people realize the impact that it has on other people when they are distracted, because that person really feels like that person doesn't care or that person's not listening. And it's definitely something I try and be really aware of, and I try and sort of make sure that I'm, you know, focusing on I'm really focused when I'm listening to someone. But we're all human, we're not perfect.
No, but yeah.
So I think we need to be better at that, and we're all trying, but I guess we all need reminders sometimes, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, we'll move on to affection section. This is where your affections lie or don't lie. And we've picked don't lie, which is, what is your biggest ick?
So I didn't really need to prepare for this question because I actually have an ick list on my phone.
Oh my gosh. Can
So
you get it
whenever
up?
I absolutely will. Whenever, don't you worry about it.
Literally, one of my best friends has this, and it's like the best list ever. I always ask her to send me it. It's so funny because she like adds. Do you like add to it as you go?
Yeah, it's
so
an
good.
evolving document.
I love
so
it.
whenever something icks me out, I'll add it. I actually have two lists. One's sort of things that piss me off in life
Okay.
thing, and
Like
one's
more serious ones.
Yeah, and one's an ick list. So here we go. My ick list is...
Yeah, so excited. I want to write them down almost. I was like, no.
I'll send you a screenshot.
Oh, go here, like the tapping and the audio being like...
Asking for my address, being tapped, rock bouldering, brushing teeth in the shower, gym selfies, when people say far left and far right, commentating while driving, Les Mis, full fat coke, toxic positivity, the colour yellow, tucking trousers into boots, men in flip-flops, and calling parents mummy and daddy.
Sorry, to circle back to colour yellow. What's wrong with yellow? It's like my whole branding.
I know. I was thinking that before I... It's fine. It's more gold.
No, I love being added. I think it's so funny.
It's fine. Yours is more gold, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
kind of.
sure.
Yeah, it's more
It's
like
kind of
strong
yellow,
yellow.
but-
It's not like sunshine
Yeah,
yellow.
I don't know. Just for like yellow, like if I saw a guy in a yellow t-shirt,
That's what I
that
thought
would
it might
give me
be
the
like
ick.
a guy wearing yellow clothes.
Yeah,
I know a
think-
guy who has
yeah.
a yellow shirt. Like, what?
Awful.
That'd be awful. It's a
Oof.
Ralph Lauren one as well. I quite like it, but
Better.
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 No, it's like, you know, there's really nice like classic Oxford slim fit. It's just
Yeah.
yellow instead of like
I
pink or
just-
blue.
I just think bright colours. Like once I was seeing this guy and I saw him and he approached me and he was wearing a bright pink Abercrombie and Fitch t-shirt, and I thought, it's over. It's done.
Did it say it in like massive letters?
It was
as
sort of
well?
like the Fitch was just like over one nipple. And I just thought, and I was with my friend at the time and she went,
It's
we
so
went to
uncool
the,
now as well.
it's so
like,
uncool.
That
We
was
went-
cool when we were like 13. Maybe
we went
even
to
younger.
the toilet and she goes, he's wearing a an Abercrombie and Fitch bright pink top. I go, I know.
I also know the pink. It's like so bright. It's not like a nice blush. It's magenta.
It is quite a fluorescent pink. Yeah, so that would give me the ick. And also I'd say maybe like bright yellow socks or like bright orange socks.
Okay, yeah. More
So,
like, yeah, the bright colours.
Yeah, the brightness, yes.
The
is a
colour
bit much.
yellow is funny though. I was like, oh my God. Fuck. My
Sorry.
whole personality.
Sorry
It's
about
fine.
that.
You're not going to date me. It's all cool.
Yeah, so that's my ever evolving document.
Yeah, that was so. Also, Les Mis. What's up with that?
I don't know. I
Isn't-
actually don't know. It just kind of cringes me out.
Like the whole concept, or a guy liking it?
I feel like a lot of the things on the list are like people who like it are really obsessed with it. And
okay.
people who like Les Mis, like they like people to know how much they love Les Mis. And
They'll
like
sing you the
they
songs and
talk
like
about it and they sing about it and they go to see the show and they want everyone to know that they went to the show.
Okay, interesting.
And even like rock bouldering, like, you know, when people talk about
I've heard that one. I kind of get it because I feel like it's just a bit icky. I agree. I think that's icky as a hobby.
and like
It's the shoes and it's like the chalky hands.
it's like it's
And
not even the hobby in itself. It's
Oh, really?
the fact
Oh.
that people who climb love
I agree. They're obsessed.
love for people to know that they climb.
Yeah, they'll let you know
It's
that
like,
they're
oh,
going for a climb.
Sorry, I'm late. I was climbing, or like, oh, I've got to go. I'm off climbing, or like, oh, I'm just climbing at the weekend. And they like to put it as their Hinge profile, and like everything just revolves around climbing. Like, cool, that's great. You have a hobby, but like,
It doesn't need to be your whole
it really
personality,
doesn't
yeah.
need to be plastered everywhere. Like, I rate that you have this interest, sort of, but
Not really. 'Cause it's
not
a bit
really at
icky.
all. It's
I
kind
think
of on my
just the
list.
image of someone going to like essentially you're going to a little room and you're like just touching loads of knobs on a wall. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit random. Like, what do you do?
It's so
Like,
random.
you climb up a wall and then what?
And
Come
then
back down again.
You're like, it's hard. So you're like, woo, I did it. And then you try again.
Yeah. Maybe I should go climbing, see what all the fuss is about.
I've been on a date that someone invited me on a date. And I'm sure we had quite a good time. But yeah, he was much better at it than I was. Because obviously he was a climber. But it was the shoes. He had the shoes. He bought them with us. And it's like, okay, good example. Bowling, that's a very normal like date activity. If someone bought their own ball and their own shoes, that's an ick.
It is.
Come on, like that's what he essentially did. I had to borrow like the center's shoes, like you would borrow the center's balls and he had his own in a little bag. And I was like, oh, I hate that for you. Or like, have you ever been ice skating and someone brings their own skates? Like,
No.
that's awful.
That's really terrible.
And you're going around like fucking Somerset House, like a tourist trap, and they've got their own skates. It's like, what are you going to do with those? Like, we're not on, the rink. I've had that as well. God,
you've been on some weird dates.
I know.
haven't you?
I think because I go for like sporty people, and then they always come out with these weird things, like bringing their own
I
skates.
just think, I don't know. I think if you want a hobby, fine, but like to be that into a hobby that you're going to bring your own skates to a date, it's just
This
a little
is the thing.
bit
I think
much.
it's more like maybe it's the awareness of like, actually, that's just like quite odd. I feel like if I was in any of these hobbies, like if I was a pro bowler, for example, I wouldn't bring my own ball on a date because I'd know that they'd be shit. It's like bringing your own clubs to mini golf. That's so embarrassing. No one would ever do that.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty
That's,
weird.
That's my ick with rock climbing. It was just the shoes. I was like,
I
no.
think rock climbing is a really big
indoor.
ick.
It's also like it's indoors. I don't know. I think it's the concept to me of like going to a little room. Like you're just going to a little room as your hobby. Maybe I could say that about more things, but
yeah, I feel like most hobbies do
I feel
take
like
place in rooms.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking like I'm a swimmer but then you're going to a pool. I feel like it's a bit more. There's something there. It's a bit different. You're literally going to a room with knobs on the wall.
Yeah. Say knobs again.
One more time. Knobs on the wall. All right. Otherwise, I'll stick on that for ages. I want that list, so it's funny. I need to go through them more as well. I feel like I could talk about each point for like so long.
I know. They make me really icky. They're very icky. You should see my things that piss me off in life
Yeah,
list.
can't wait for that one.
Bloody
We can do that
hell.
after. little RN one. Let's do your bestie rec.
Ooh, exciting.
A close friend's summary of why someone should date you.
I'm nervous.
There's a long list of reasons why you should date my best friend, but I'm going to tell you a couple today. So she is a natural born entertainer, whether that be karaoke performances, intricate TikTok dances, the most random questions you can think of, or made up games, you will simply never be bored. This girl has a real sense of adventure and loves to travel, and having been on many holidays with her, I can confirm she is a lot of fun. She has an encyclopedic knowledge of Freddie Mercury, so any Queen fans are a big bonus. She's super compassionate. Her job involves working with kids, so she's really caring and understanding. And the icing on the cake is she's as beautiful on the outside as she is on the inside. Think London's answer to Emma Stone. So to win her over, make sure you're up to speed on the latest Z-list celebs gracing the stage at Britain's Got Talent or on Love Island, and make sure you're offering up any leopard print merch as gifts.
Oh my God. I was not expecting that.
No, you weren't expecting
I wasn't expecting that person at all. But that was really, really lovely.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I have a lot of hobbies and some very niche interests that I've not mentioned.
No, Freddie Mercury stood out to me.
I absolutely love him. He's my background on my phone. And I don't think I even knew who he was before the Bohemian Rhapsody film came out. And I went to see it.
Really?
And I came out of the cinema like, oh my God, that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And I went to sit again. And then I went to sit again. So I paid 3 times to go see it in the cinema. Oh, and since then, I've watched like every Freddie Mercury documentary under the sun. I've got a poster of him in my room. He's my background on my phone. I literally love him. And Live Aid was literally one of the best performances of all time. And I'm so sad that I'll never get to see him live.
I'm really sad about that too, because my favourite band is the Beatles. And it's really sad that I can never see them live.
It is very upsetting. It is very upsetting. But I want to go to, I think it's Switzerland, where like Freddie Mercury's studios were, or where he's buried, or I should know that really. But
some association.
There's something to do with Freddie Mercury in Switzerland, and I would like to go there. And so if anyone wants to take me to Switzerland, that'd be nice.
That would be great. Oh, the Emma Stone thing. I thought that was so good. Do you not think you look like her? I think you do.
I don't
When
know.
she said it, I was like, wow.
Oh, do you think I look like Emma Stone?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think I do, you know.
No?
No, I
You
just
don't have
think
the freckles.
the
But
hair colour. But I think when it comes to like redheads, like I wouldn't really, I don't know, am I a redhead?
No, not really. Not like her, I guess.
No, but I think whenever...
Yeah, I don't know, like just your face shape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, I see it. And the eyes, I see it.
I love being told who I look like. I find it so interesting.
It is interesting.
Who have I been told I look like recently? So I always get Emma Stone, but I don't really see it.
I always get it, but
I always get it, but it's so not true. I used to get Lindsay Lohan when I was little.
Well, they're quite similar vibes.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyone that's like remotely
but
redhead,
you don't
they're
have
like,
the freckles.
I do have freckles.
Not like their level of freckles.
No.
Though.
I used to get Ginny Weasley when I was little.
No,
I didn't like that.
No. Again, I think they're just quoting like redheads now.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're like brown, red. I don't know. Not red.
I used to get Effy from Skins.
Oh yeah.
Do you see that?
I see that more. Because I mean, she's just got brown hair, so yeah.
Yeah. And I've had Anya Taylor Joyce, what's her name?
Oh, I don't know who that is.
You do. The Queen's Gambit.
Oh yeah.
Anya Taylor.
No, she
Joy.
has quite like a harsh face.
I have had her. And I've had
I don't see that one. Emma Stone, that was like, wow.
Wednesday, you know the Wednesday thing on Netflix?
Oh yeah. No.
What's her name?
Not
is
sure.
It Jenna
about
Ortega?
Oh, don't know.
I
know exactly who that is, but
yeah,
no,
I've had her.
Too dark.
Yeah. I've
also
had many
not
people.
the right face, I don't think.
I'm also confused that my friend said this because she's never before said you look like Emma Stone.
Really?
So
That is interesting.
I'm going to have words with her later.
Yeah. Like, why'd you never tell me that?
You never told me that before.
We'll wrap up
Okay.
the podcast.
Okay.
What is your one-word review of yourself?
So my one word would be quirky.
Nice. Haven't had that one yet.
Oh, really?
No. And it's quite a, like, I guess, common word, but...
It is a common word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say I'm a little bit quirky. Got a few little quirks. Some good ones. Some not so good ones.
I guess, yeah. I'm trying
Some
to think of, like,
entertaining
what's
ones.
been quirky.
Well, you have to get to know me to
I agree.
discover all of my
I feel
quirks.
like you need to discover them. They will come out, like, slowly.
Yeah.
Quirks don't always reveal themselves.
Yeah, I'm not going to...
In a 30-minute
No,
conversation.
I'm not going to show you all my quirks just yet, but you will find out. No doubt about that.
That's fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
If you're interested in learning about all these quirks, contact the podcast on Instagram @SingleSounds to get her details and request a date. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next Tuesday to introduce you to more London singles. Love you. Bye.